Did you know that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts? But here's the kicker. While most of us know we need to focus on high-impact tasks, procrastination and distractions hold us back. Imagine how much more you could achieve if you consistently tackled your most important tasks first thing every day. This is where Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog comes into play, offering practical strategies to beat procrastination and maximize your potential. The phrase "eat that frog" might sound strange, but it's rooted in a simple yet powerful metaphor. If you start your day by eating a live frog, the rest of the day will feel easy by comparison. In Tracy's world, the frog represents your most important and often most difficult task, the one you're most likely to procrastinate on, but that will have the biggest positive impact on your goals. By learning to eat that frog every morning, you build momentum, gain confidence, and free your mind for the rest of the day. In this video, we're diving deep into the key principles and tips from Eat That Frog to help you overcome procrastination, prioritize effectively, and achieve your goals. I'll share actionable steps that I've personally used to transform my productivity and focus. Whether you're struggling with a never-ending to-do list, feeling overwhelmed by distractions, or simply looking for ways to make your workday more effective, this guide is for you. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. What's the one task you've been avoiding? Your frog. Let us know in the comments. And if you're ready to take your productivity to the next level, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on tips to help you succeed. Let's get started and turn those frogs into stepping stones for success. Chapter 1. Set the table. Let's start with the foundation of productivity: clarity. Picture this. You sit down at your desk, ready to conquer the day, but you're overwhelmed by the sheer number of tasks vying for your attention. Ever felt like that? This is why Brian Tracy emphasizes the importance of setting the table. Setting the table means getting crystal clear about what you want to achieve. Think of it like planning a dinner party. You wouldn't invite guests over without deciding the menu, right? Similarly, you can't expect to tackle your goals without first defining them. Here's a step-by-step guide to set your table. Step 1. Decide what you want. Start by identifying your most important goals. Be specific. For example, instead of saying, "I want to be successful," say, "I want to increase my monthly income by 20% in the next 6 months." Step 2. Write it down. Writing down your goals gives them power. According to a Harvard business study, people who write down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. Step 3. Set deadlines. A goal without a deadline is just a wish. Set a clear timeline for each goal. If it's a big project, break it into smaller milestones with their own deadlines. Step 4. Make a plan. Once you've outlined your goals, create a plan to achieve them. This could include daily actions, resources you need, or people you might seek help from. Step 5. Take action. Even the best laid plans are useless without action. Start small if you must, but start. The key is to build momentum. Imagine you're working on launching a business. Your goal might be to acquire 10 clients in the next 3 months. You write it down, break it into tasks like designing a website, creating a marketing plan, and networking. With each task clearly outlined, you avoid the paralysis of not knowing where to start. Setting the table doesn't mean spending hours decorating the tablecloth. Don't get stuck over planning. Your goal is progress, not perfection. So what's your table today? Share one specific goal in the comments below. Remember, clarity is the first step to success. Chapter 2. Plan in advance. If you've ever woken up and thought, "What do I need to do today?" only to spend half the day figuring it out, you're not alone. Brian Tracy's advice? Plan every day in advance. It sounds simple, but it's a game changer for your productivity. Think of your day as a road trip. Would you start driving without knowing your destination or mapping out the route? Of course not. Planning your day in advance works the same way. It ensures you know exactly where to go and how to get there, saving you time and energy. Here's how you can do it effectively. Step 1. Set aside time. Spend 10-15 minutes each evening planning the next day. It's a small investment with massive returns. Step 2. Make a to-do list. Write down everything you need to accomplish. Don't rely on memory. Put it on paper or in a digital planner. Step 3. Prioritize tasks. Use the ABCDE method to rank tasks by importance. Start with your A tasks, the frogs, and work your way down. Step 4. Estimate time. Assign a time estimate for each task. This helps you avoid overloading your day. Step 5. Time block. According to a study by Dr. Gail Matthews, people who write down their tasks and plans are 33% more likely to achieve them. So, grab a notebook or open your favorite productivity app. Your future self will thank you. Remember, planning doesn't mean perfection. Some days won't go as planned, and that's okay. The goal is to have a clear roadmap so you can spend less time wondering what to do and more time getting it done. Chapter 3. Apply the 80-20 rule to everything. Have you ever felt like you're doing a million things but not really making progress? That's where the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle, swoops in to save the day. This principle says that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. In other words, not all tasks are created equal. Imagine you're a salesperson. You might realize that 20% of your clients generate 80% of your sales. Or, as a student, 20% of the topics you study could account for 80% of your exam questions. The trick is to figure out which 20% really matters and focus your energy there. Here's how you can apply the 80-20 rule in your life. Step 1. Identify your high-value activities. Look at your to-do list and ask, which tasks will have the biggest impact on my goals? Highlight those tasks and make them your priority. Step 2. Eliminate or delegate low-value tasks. If something doesn't significantly contribute to your goals, it's a candidate for delegation or elimination. For example, do you really need to spend an hour organizing your email folders? Or could that time be better spent? Step 3. Focus on results, not busy work. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're productive. Use the 80-20 rule to shift your focus from being busy to achieving results. Ever cleaned your house before tackling a work deadline? Guilty. That's classic avoidance of the 20% that truly matters. The 80-20 rule reminds us to resist the urge to procrastinate on high-value tasks by getting lost in low-value ones. Research shows that people who focus on high-impact tasks tend to achieve more in less time. So, take a good look at your daily activities and start trimming the fat. What's one task you can eliminate or delegate today to free up time for the important stuff? Let us know in the comments below. The bottom line? Work smarter, not harder. Focus on the few tasks that drive the majority of your results, and you'll see a massive boost in productivity. Chapter 4. Have you ever stopped to think about how a single decision today could ripple through your life for years to come? That's the essence of considering the consequences. According to Tracy, long-term thinking is one of the most important qualities of highly productive people. They don't just focus on what's easy now. They think about the impact their actions will have in the future. Imagine you're tempted to skip a workout today. It might not seem like a big deal in the moment, but if you make skipping a habit, it could lead to poor health down the line. On the flip side, if you choose to work out consistently, you'll reap the benefits of better energy, confidence, and longevity. Tracy suggests asking yourself, what are the possible consequences of doing or not doing this task? This simple question can help you prioritize tasks with the most significant long-term impact. Here's a step-by-step approach to applying this principle. Step 1. Pause and reflect. Before starting a task, Ask yourself how it aligns with your long-term goals. Does it move you closer to where you want to be, or is it just busy work? Step 2. Visualize the outcome. Picture the results of completing the task. For example, finishing a big project might lead to a promotion or more recognition at work. Step 3. Prioritize high-impact tasks. Choose tasks with the most positive long-term effects. These are usually your frogs, the tasks that feel hard now but are worth it later. Imagine eating a salad versus a donut. One makes you feel good for 5 minutes, the other makes you feel good for 5 years. Which would you choose? Okay, maybe choose both occasionally. The takeaway? Every action has a consequence, whether positive or negative. Make it a habit to consider the ripple effects of your decisions, and you'll naturally start prioritizing tasks that create lasting value. Chapter 5. Practice creative procrastination. Did you know there's such a thing as productive procrastination? Sounds like an oxymoron, right? But Tracy flips the script on procrastination by teaching us how to practice it creatively. The idea isn't about avoiding work altogether. It's about intentionally putting off low-priority tasks to focus on what truly matters. Think of your to-do list as a buffet. You can't eat everything at once, or at least you shouldn't. So, you have to choose the most satisfying and nourishing options first. Similarly, with tasks, not everything is equally important. Creative procrastination is about letting go of the junk food tasks that don't add much value. Here's how to practice creative procrastination. Step 1. Make a not-to-do list. Write down tasks that aren't worth your time. These could be minor chores, overly detailed perfectionist edits, or low-impact commitments. For instance, do you really need to spend an hour reorganizing your sock drawer? Step 2. Delegate and automate. If a task doesn't need your personal touch, delegate it to someone else, or use technology to automate it. Apps like Zapier or IFTTT can save you hours on repetitive tasks. Step 3. Focus on high-value tasks. Dedicate your prime working hours to tasks with the biggest payoff. Let the less urgent ones wait until later, or not at all. Imagine putting off laundry for a week, but finally finishing that important project at work. Sure, you might be out of clean socks, but your career just got a boost. That's creative procrastination in action. Research shows that letting go of less critical tasks reduces stress and boosts productivity. After all, you only have so much energy in a day. Why waste it on things that don't matter? So, ask yourself, what's one task you can intentionally procrastinate on today to focus on something more meaningful? Let us know in the comments below. The takeaway? You can't do it all, and you don't need to. Prioritize what matters most, and let the rest take a back seat. That's the art of creative procrastination. Chapter 6. Use the ABCDE method continually. Feeling overwhelmed by a mountain of tasks? Enter the ABCDE method, Tracy's simple yet powerful system for prioritizing your workload. Think of it as your productivity compass, pointing you toward what truly matters while keeping you from getting lost in a sea of distractions. Here's how it works. Step 1. Assign a letter to each task. Go through your to-do list and label each item as A, B, C, D, or E in order of priority. Step 2. Tackle A tasks first. Once you've labeled your tasks, focus exclusively on completing your A tasks before moving on to B tasks. Resist the temptation to work on easier or more enjoyable tasks first. Imagine you're planning a big event. Your A task might be securing the venue because nothing else can move forward without it. Your B task could be sending out invitations. Your C task? Deciding the color scheme. It's nice, but not mission critical. I once spent an entire morning organizing my desk, a C task, instead of prepping for an important meeting, an A task. Sure, my desk looked great, but my presentation? Not so much. Lesson learned. Always start with your A tasks. The ABCDE method helps you stay laser-focused on tasks that create the most value. It also prevents you from wasting time on activities that feel productive but aren't. Review your list at the end of each day and reassign letters as needed. Priorities can shift, and staying flexible ensures you're always working on what matters most. The ABCDE method is like decluttering your schedule. It helps you cut through the noise and concentrate on what truly matters. Chapter 7. Focus on key result areas. Have you ever felt busy but not productive? That's probably because you're spending too much time on tasks outside your key result areas. According to Tracy, every job or role has specific key result areas, KRAs, that make the biggest difference in achieving success. The trick is to identify them and focus your energy there. Think of a chef in a busy kitchen. Their key result areas are preparing dishes, ensuring food quality, and managing the kitchen team. If they spend too much time on tasks like cleaning tables or restocking supplies, important but not their main responsibility, the quality of their food suffers. Here's how you can focus on your key result areas. Step 1. Identify your KRAs. Ask yourself, what are the 5 to 7 critical tasks I must excel at to succeed in my role? For a sales manager, this could include generating leads, closing deals, and training the sales team. Step 2. Evaluate your performance. Rate yourself on each KRA on a scale of 1 to 10. Be honest. Where you're scoring low, there's room for improvement. Step 3. Create an action plan. Focus on improving your weakest KRA first. For example, if closing deals isn't your strength, invest time in learning negotiation techniques. Step 4. Track your progress. Set measurable goals and review your performance regularly. This ensures you're always improving in areas that matter most. Imagine you're a graphic designer. Your KRAs might include designing visuals, meeting client deadlines, and staying updated on design trends. If you spend hours answering emails instead of creating designs, you're neglecting your core responsibilities. The key takeaway? Success comes from excelling in your KRAs. Don't get bogged down in tasks that don't move the needle. Chapter 8. The Law of 3. Ever feel like your to-do list is so long it might actually be infinite? Don't worry, you're not alone. Enter Tracy's Law of 3, a simple principle designed to cut through the clutter and help you focus on what really matters. The idea? No matter how many tasks you have, 3 of them are likely to produce the majority of your results. Find those 3, and you'll unlock a whole new level of productivity. Think of the Law of 3 as the secret weapon for getting things done. Here's how you can apply it. Step 1. Identify your top 3 tasks. Start by listing all your responsibilities. This could be everything from managing emails to leading a project. Now, ask yourself, if I could only do 3 things today that would make the biggest impact, what would they be? Highlight those tasks. Step 2. Focus your energy. Once you've identified your top 3 tasks, commit to completing them first. Let everything else wait until these are done. These are your frogs, the tasks that drive your progress. Step 3. Review and refine. At the end of the day, review your work. Did you focus on the right 3 tasks? Could you do better tomorrow? This reflection will help you continuously improve. Imagine you're a small business owner juggling 20 things at once. Your top 3 tasks might be reaching out to new clients, finalizing a marketing plan, and reviewing your budget. If you spend your day tweaking your website instead, you're missing the point. Those 3 tasks are the ones that will keep your business growing. Need more convincing? Consider this. Research shows that multitasking can reduce productivity by up to 40%. By narrowing your focus to just 3 high-impact tasks, you're actually giving yourself the mental bandwidth to excel. The law of 3 is not an excuse to ignore laundry or dishes forever. Just make sure they're not your top 3 every single day. The law of 3 isn't just about work. It applies to life as well. Whether it's relationships, health, or personal growth, ask yourself, what 3 things will make the biggest difference? Then, prioritize them relentlessly. What are your top 3 tasks for today? Chapter 9. Prepare thoroughly before you begin. Have you ever tried baking a cake without checking if you had all the ingredients? It usually ends in frustration or a trip to the store. Similarly, diving into a task without preparation can lead to wasted time and effort. Brian Tracy's advice? Prepare thoroughly before you begin. Think of preparation as setting the stage for success. It ensures you have everything you need to hit the ground running, minimizing interruptions and boosting productivity. Here's how to prepare thoroughly. Step 1. Gather your tools. Make sure you have all the resources and tools you need. For example, if you're writing a report, gather data, organize your notes, and set up your software. Step 2. Create a checklist. A checklist ensures you don't miss any steps. It could be as simple as a to-do list or a detailed project plan. Step 3. Organize your workspace. Clear the clutter and create a space where you can focus. A tidy desk can lead to a tidy mind. Step 4. Eliminate distractions. Turn off notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and let others know you're unavailable for a set time. Step 5. Set the mood. Get into the right mindset. This might mean playing focus-enhancing music, grabbing a coffee, or taking a few deep breaths. Think of preparation like sharpening a pencil. You wouldn't try to write an essay with a blunt pencil, right? Taking the time to sharpen it makes the writing process so much easier. According to studies, people who spend time preparing are 30% more likely to complete tasks successfully. Preparation reduces stress and helps you stay focused on the task at hand. So, before you start your next big task, ask yourself, am I truly prepared? Taking a few extra minutes to organize and gather what you need can make all the difference. Chapter 10. Take it one step at a time. Have you ever looked at a big project and thought, where do I even start? It's overwhelming, isn't it? Brian Tracy's advice is simple but powerful. Take it one step at a time. Tackling tasks in manageable chunks makes even the most daunting projects achievable. Think of a giant staircase. If you focus on the entire staircase, it might feel impossible to climb. But if you take it step by step, one foot in front of the other, you'll reach the top before you know it. Here's how to apply this principle. Step 1. Break it down. Divide your big task into smaller, actionable steps. For example, if you're writing a book, start with creating an outline, then move on to writing the introduction, and so on. Step 2. Prioritize your steps. Arrange the smaller tasks in the order they need to be completed. This ensures you're building momentum and not wasting time on things that can wait. Step 3. Focus on the next step. Don't get bogged down by what's ahead. Concentrate on completing the task right in front of you. Step 4. Celebrate small wins. Each step completed is a win. Celebrate your progress to stay motivated. Taking one step at a time isn't just for projects. It's also great advice for trying to assemble IKEA furniture. Skip a step, and you'll end up with a bookshelf that looks like modern art. Breaking tasks into smaller pieces reduces procrastination and increases motivation. Why? Because smaller tasks feel more achievable, and finishing them gives you a sense of accomplishment. So, the next time you face a big challenge, don't let it intimidate you. Ask yourself, what's the first step I can take right now? Start there, and before you know it, you'll be halfway up the staircase. Chapter 11. Upgrade your key skills. Have you ever felt stuck in your career or personal life, wondering why progress seems slow? Brian Tracy's answer is clear. Upgrade your key skills. Think of skills as tools in your productivity toolbox. The sharper and more specialized your tools, the easier it is to get the job done. Let's start with an analogy. Imagine you're a chef. If your knife is dull, chopping vegetables takes forever, and the results are messy. But with a sharp knife, you work faster, safer, and produce better meals. The same principle applies to your skills. Sharpen them, and you'll achieve more with less effort. Here's how to upgrade your key skills. Step 1. Identify the skills that matter. Start by asking yourself, what skills are critical to my success? For example, a salesperson might focus on mastering negotiation, while a designer might prioritize learning new software. Step 2. Invest in learning. Allocate time and resources to skill building. This could mean taking an online course, attending workshops, or reading books by experts in your field. Did you know that the average CEO reads 52 books a year? That's 1 book per week. Step 3. Practice consistently. Knowledge alone isn't enough. Apply what you learn in real-world situations. Consistent practice turns theory into expertise. Step 4. Seek feedback. Ask mentors, peers, or clients for constructive criticism. It's one of the fastest ways to identify areas for improvement. Step 5. Stay updated. In today's fast-paced world, skills can become obsolete quickly. Make it a habit to stay current with industry trends and technologies. A friend of mine wanted to transition from a general administrative role to a project management position. She identified that mastering project management software was a key skill. She took an online course, practiced with mock projects, and sought feedback from colleagues. Within 6 months, she landed her dream job. Upgrading your skills isn't about becoming perfect overnight. It's like learning to dance. At first, you'll step on a few toes, but with practice, you'll glide across the floor. So, what's one skill you can upgrade today? Share it in the comments, and let's grow together. Chapter 12. Leverage your special talents. Have you ever thought about what you do better than most people? That unique talent or skill that seems to come naturally to you? Brian Tracy encourages us to leverage our special talents because they hold the key to achieving extraordinary results. Let's start with this. Everyone has something they excel at, whether it's writing, problem solving, or even bringing people together. Your special talents are your unfair advantage, the areas where you can add the most value. The trick is to identify and fully utilize them. Here's how to leverage your special talents. Step 1. Identify your strengths. Ask yourself, what tasks do I excel at? If you're unsure, think about the compliments you've received or the tasks you enjoy doing the most. You can also take assessments like StrengthsFinder or ask colleagues for feedback. Step 2. Focus on high-impact areas. Once you know your strengths, channel them into tasks that align with your goals. For example, if you're great at storytelling, focus on creating compelling presentations or marketing materials. Step 3. Delegate weaknesses. You don't have to do everything. If a task isn't your strong suit, delegate it to someone who excels in that area. This frees up your time to focus on what you do best. Step 4. Develop your talents. Even natural talents can be improved. Invest in courses, books, or mentors to hone your skills and become even more effective. Leveraging your special talents is like being a superhero. Spider-Man wouldn't waste time designing costumes when his real talent is saving the day. Stick to your superpower and let someone else handle the sewing. So, take a moment to reflect. What's your special talent? How can you use it more effectively? Share your talent in the comments below, and let's celebrate what makes you unique. Chapter 13. Identify your key constraints. Have you ever felt like something's holding you back, but you can't quite put your finger on it? That's where identifying your key constraints comes into play. Think of constraints as bottlenecks. Imagine trying to pour water through a funnel with a narrow neck. No matter how much you tilt the bottle, the flow is limited. By widening the neck, your constraints, you can increase your efficiency dramatically. Here's how to identify and tackle your key constraints. Step 1. Pinpoint the problem. Ask yourself, what's stopping me from moving forward? For example, if you're struggling to meet deadlines, is it because you're overcommitting or need better time management? Step 2. Look internally and externally. Constraints can come from within, like fear of failure or procrastination, or external factors like insufficient funding or team support. Be honest and thorough in identifying both. Step 3. Prioritize the bottleneck. Not all constraints are created equal. Focus on the one that's having the biggest impact on your progress. This is your primary bottleneck. Step 4. Develop a plan. Once you've identified your key constraint, create a strategy to overcome it. If it's a skill, invest in training. If it's time, delegate tasks or eliminate distractions. Constraints are like traffic jams. You can honk all you want, but until you figure out a better route, you're stuck. Identifying your constraint is like finding the GPS shortcut that saves the day. Remember, the faster you identify your constraint, the faster you can break free and reach your goals. Chapter 14. Put the pressure on yourself. Have you ever noticed how productive you become right before a deadline? That's the power of pressure in action. Tracy suggests we don't wait for external forces to create that pressure. We can put it on ourselves to drive progress and achieve more. Think of pressure as your secret productivity superpower. It's like training for a marathon. If you know race day is in 6 weeks, you're more likely to stick to your training schedule. By setting deadlines and creating accountability, you push yourself to perform at your best. Here's how to put the pressure on yourself effectively. Step 1. Set clear deadlines. Give yourself a specific time frame to complete each task. For example, if you're writing a report, decide that the first draft will be done by Friday at 5 p.m. Step 2. Announce your goals. Share your deadlines with someone who can hold you accountable. Telling a friend, colleague, or even your social media followers can add a layer of commitment. Step 3. Break it down. Divide big tasks into smaller chunks with mini deadlines. This makes the process less overwhelming and ensures steady progress. Step 4. Visualize the consequences. Remind yourself of what's at stake if you don't meet your goals. Sometimes, a little self-imposed urgency is all you need to stay on track. Putting pressure on yourself is like being your own boss, but a boss who still lets you have snacks during meetings. Keep it firm but fair. Research shows that self-imposed deadlines can significantly improve focus and performance. The key is to treat your commitments seriously, even if no one else is checking up on you. The sense of accomplishment you feel when you hit your targets is worth the effort. So, what's one task you've been procrastinating on? Set a deadline for it right now and share it in the comments below. Let's turn up the pressure and get it done. Chapter 15. Maximize your personal powers. Ever feel like you're running on empty halfway through the day? Think of yourself as a high-performance machine. Like any machine, you need proper maintenance to keep running smoothly. When you prioritize your well-being, you'll find it easier to tackle even the toughest frogs on your to-do list. Here's how to maximize your personal powers. Step 1. Prioritize rest. Sleep is non-negotiable. Studies show that getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep improves focus, decision-making, and productivity. So, put down the phone before bed and give your brain a chance to recharge. Step 2. Fuel your body. What you eat affects how you perform. Opt for foods that sustain energy, like lean proteins, whole grains, and plenty of fruits and veggies. And don't forget to hydrate. Your brain loves water. Step 3. Move your body. Regular exercise isn't just good for your health. It boosts your mood and mental clarity. Even a 10-minute walk can work wonders when you're feeling stuck. Step 4. Schedule your energy peaks. Identify when you're most alert during the day, morning, afternoon, or evening. Plan your hardest tasks for these peak energy times to maximize efficiency. Step 5. Manage stress. Incorporate mindfulness practices like meditation or deep breathing to keep stress in check. A clear mind is a productive mind. Research shows that maintaining good health habits boosts workplace performance by up to 25%. So, think of self-care as an investment in your productivity. What's one change you can make today to boost your energy? Chapter 16. Motivate yourself into action. Let's face it, some days it's hard to find the motivation to get out of bed, let alone tackle your biggest tasks. The good news? You don't have to wait for motivation to strike like lightning. Tracy teaches us that we can motivate ourselves into action with a few simple strategies. Think of motivation as a spark. Sometimes it comes naturally, but often you need to create it yourself. By taking small, deliberate steps, you can ignite that spark and keep it burning. Here's how to motivate yourself into action. Step 1. Set clear goals. Start with a specific, measurable objective. Instead of saying, I need to work out more, try, I'll do a 30-minute workout at 7 a.m. 3 times this week. Clarity creates focus, and focus fuels action. Step 2. Visualize success. Picture the benefits of completing your task. Imagine how you'll feel after finishing that report or finally decluttering your workspace. Visualization can make the end result more enticing. Step 3. Use positive self-talk. Replace negative thoughts with empowering ones. Instead of thinking, this is too hard, tell yourself, I can handle this, one step at a time. Your inner dialogue shapes your actions. Step 4. Take the first step. Action creates momentum. Even a tiny step, like writing the title of a report, can kickstart your productivity. Once you start, it's easier to keep going. Step 5. Reward yourself. Give yourself something to look forward to after completing a task. It could be a short break, a favorite snack, or time spent on a hobby. A friend of mine struggled to start her daily runs. She began by putting on her running shoes and stepping outside, promising herself she could stop if she wanted to. Once outside, she always ended up running and feeling great afterward. The hardest part was just starting. Here's a bit of humor to lighten the mood. Think of motivating yourself like coaxing a cat out of hiding. Sometimes, you just need a little patience and the right treat. Studies show that small wins build confidence and encourage sustained effort. So, what's one small action you can take right now to build momentum? Share it in the comments below, and let's get moving together. Chapter 17. Get out of the technological time sinks. Ever sat down to check one email and ended up scrolling through Instagram for an hour? Don't worry, you're not alone. Technology is a double-edged sword. While it can make our lives easier, it's also one of the biggest productivity traps out there. Tracy advises us to recognize and escape these technological time sinks before they derail our focus. Here's the reality. Apps, notifications, and endless scrolling are designed to keep us hooked. But with a little self-awareness and discipline, you can take back control of your time. Here's how to escape technological time sinks. Step 1. Turn off non-essential notifications. Do you really need to know when someone liked your post or when there's a sale on headphones? Disable notifications for anything that doesn't require immediate attention. Keep your focus on what matters. Step 2. Set tech-free zones. Dedicate certain times of the day for deep work without interruptions. For example, put your phone in another room while you work on high-priority tasks. Step 3. Use technology intentionally. Schedule specific times to check emails and social media. Stick to these windows instead of constantly switching back and forth. Step 4. Leverage productivity tools. Use apps like Freedom or Stay Focused to block distracting websites during work hours. Technology can be part of the solution if you use it wisely. Step 5. Audit your screen time. Take a week to track how much time you're spending on apps. You might be shocked to see how quickly it adds up. Once you know your habits, set limits and stick to them. Think of your phone as a toddler demanding constant attention. Sometimes you just have to say, "Not now," and give it a timeout. Research shows that the average person spends over 3 hours a day on their phone. Imagine what you could accomplish if you reclaimed even half of that time. So, what's one tech habit you can adjust today to stay focused? Chapter 18. Slice and dice the task. Ever looked at a huge task and felt overwhelmed before you even started? That's where Brian Tracy's slice and dice method comes in. The idea is simple but powerful. Break down big tasks into smaller, manageable pieces. It's like eating a pizza. You don't swallow it whole. You enjoy it one slice at a time. Here's how to slice and dice your tasks. Step 1. Write it all down. Start by listing everything that needs to be done for the task. Break it down as much as possible. For example, instead of writing "plan a wedding," list out subtasks like book the venue, hire a caterer, and choose the invitations. Step 2. Prioritize subtasks. Decide which pieces are the most urgent or impactful. Tackle these first to build momentum. Step 3. Set mini deadlines. Assign a specific time frame to each subtask. Instead of saying, "I'll work on the project this week," aim for something like, "I'll complete the first section by Wednesday at 3 p.m. Step 4. Celebrate progress. Every time you finish a small part, give yourself a pat on the back. Progress, no matter how small, is still progress. Breaking tasks into smaller pieces is like chopping onions. Yes, there might be a few tears, but it's much better than trying to deal with the whole onion at once. Research backs this up too. Studies show that tackling tasks in smaller chunks reduces procrastination and increases the likelihood of completion. Why? Because starting small feels less intimidating and creates momentum. So, the next time you're faced with a big, scary task, don't let it overwhelm you. Ask yourself, what's one small step I can take right now? Chapter 19. Create large chunks of time. Ever feel like your day is a series of interruptions, leaving you with no time to focus? Brian Tracy's advice is clear. Create large chunks of uninterrupted time to dive deep into your most important tasks. It's like carving out a block of gold in a chaotic mine. Multitasking is overrated. Studies show that switching between tasks can reduce productivity by up to 40%. Instead, dedicating large, focused blocks of time to one task allows you to enter a state of flow where creativity and efficiency thrive. Here's how to create those golden chunks of time. Step 1. Schedule it. Treat your focus time like a meeting with the CEO. That's you. Block it on your calendar and protect it from distractions. For example, set aside 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for deep work. Step 2. Eliminate interruptions. Turn off notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and let others know you're unavailable during this period. Think of it as a do not disturb sign for your brain. Step 3. Prioritize high-value tasks. Use these blocks for your frogs, the tasks that have the greatest impact. Don't waste prime focus time on low-priority work. Step 4. Break it into sessions. If a 2-hour block feels daunting, divide it into smaller 25 or 50-minute sessions with short breaks in between. Protecting your focus time is like guarding your favorite dessert at a party. If you don't, someone or something will take a bite out of it. Research supports this approach. According to a University of California study, it takes an average of 23 minutes to refocus after an interruption. Imagine how much time you save by preventing those interruptions altogether. So, what's one task that deserves a large chunk of your time this week? Block it on your calendar, guard it fiercely, and watch your productivity soar. Share your task in the comments below, and let's commit to uninterrupted progress together. Chapter 20. Develop a sense of urgency. Do you ever feel like you're moving through tasks at a leisurely pace, even when deadlines are looming? Tracy emphasizes the importance of developing a sense of urgency, a mindset that pushes you to take immediate action and maintain momentum. It's about creating your own now or never moments. Think of a sense of urgency as your internal fire. It doesn't mean rushing recklessly. It's about working with focus and determination, knowing that every moment counts. Here's how to cultivate urgency. Step 1. Set tight deadlines. Assign shorter timeframes to your tasks than you think you need. For example, if a report is due next week, aim to finish it in 3 days. Shorter deadlines force you to act now instead of delaying. Step 2. Eliminate perfectionism. Don't wait for the perfect conditions to start. Begin with what you have, knowing you can refine it later. Progress beats perfection every time. Step 3. Create a reward system. Promise yourself a small treat for completing tasks on time. It could be a coffee break, a quick walk, or catching up on your favorite show. Step 4. Visualize the consequences. Ask yourself, what happens if I don't complete this task on time? Sometimes, imagining the negative outcomes can be a powerful motivator. A friend of mine always struggled with procrastination until she started setting a timer for 30 minutes and telling herself to work as fast as possible. She called it her race the clock game. By turning her tasks into a fun challenge, she doubled her productivity. Developing a sense of urgency is like trying to grab a cookie before the jar gets put away. If you don't move quickly, you might miss your chance. Research shows that people who work with a sense of urgency are more likely to meet deadlines and exceed expectations. Urgency creates focus, and focus leads to results. So, what's one task you've been putting off? Set a tight deadline, eliminate distractions, and dive in with a sense of urgency. Chapter 21. Single-handle every task. Have you ever started working on a task only to get distracted by emails, notifications, or random thoughts? Tracy's advice to single-handle every task is about focusing on one thing at a time until it's completely finished. It's like saying, no more multitasking madness. Here's why this works. When you focus all your energy on one task, you enter a state of flow where your productivity soars. On the flip side, constantly switching between tasks makes you less efficient and more prone to mistakes. Studies even show that multitasking can reduce productivity by up to 40%. Here's how to single-handle your tasks. Step 1. Choose one task. Start by identifying your most important task, your frog. Commit to working on it without interruptions until it's done. Step 2. Eliminate distractions. Put your phone on silent, close unnecessary tabs, and let others know you're unavailable. Think of this as creating a bubble of focus. Step 3. Set a timer. If the task feels overwhelming, use a timer to break it into manageable chunks. For example, work for 50 minutes, then take a 10-minute break. Step 4. Celebrate completion. Once you've finished, take a moment to acknowledge your progress. Completing one task fully is far more satisfying than juggling 5 half-done ones. A friend of mine used to struggle with writing her weekly reports because she'd constantly check emails while working. When she started dedicating a single hour to just writing, she finished faster and with better results. Her secret? She treated that hour like sacred, uninterrupted time. Think of single-handling a task like eating an ice cream cone on a hot day. If you keep stopping to do other things, it'll melt away before you've enjoyed it. Research backs this up. The brain takes time to refocus after an interruption, so staying with one task until completion is a massive time saver. Plus, the sense of accomplishment you feel after finishing is a great motivator for your next task. So, what's one task you can single-handle today? Commit to starting and finishing it without distractions. By applying these principles, you'll not only boost your productivity, but also reduce stress and create more time for what truly matters. So, what's your biggest frog today? Share it in the comments below and commit to tackling it head-on. And if you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a productivity boost. Remember, the journey to success starts with one frog at a time. Let's keep eating those frogs and achieving our goals together.